Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hey everybody, old Captain here, and we got a video request. This is one I had to do a little bit of research on, and really want to help this guy out. So if any of you, I'm just one brain, one guy, and I know we got like 20,000 of you guys out there. So if any of you have something similar or any advice to this young man, be very appreciated if you go help him out and make some comments below. Hey Cappy, I'm a 19-year-old chemical engineer student in Canada. Ever since I was a child, I have stuttered pretty bad, to the point where it seems as if I had Tourette's each time I would speak. This caused me to be pretty much isolated socially when growing up and not learning basic social skills. And I know, if he meant to say now, I now realize it has completely fucked my life. One, after trying my ass off to make friends and connections for all these years and being constantly rejected, I am lost on what I should do, how I should approach this, as the loneliness just drives me deeper in this depression. 2, I am 6 feet tall, fit, and slightly above average looking. He sent me a picture. He's a good looking dude. He's a good looking dude. I'm sorry I'm doing this on my legs, so there might be some gyration. But anyway, he is a good looking guy. He's okay looking. I mean, not gay. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I was a woman, or I theorized being a woman, I'd say, that's a good looking guy. But, like, him and I are not getting together anytime soon. And I think he's alright with that. Yeah. I'm 6 feet, and yes, once I talked, I could sense my worth falling faster than the stocks in the Great Depression. Being an immigrant doesn't help. Well, see, right there, that you're making things worse. And I know it's simply saying, well, ignore that shit. But why would you? If you're already assuming you're going down in value when you're talking, that's going to make you less. I can't even say that. It presents yourself as less value. If you don't have the confidence, which I understand why your confidence is undermined, but you're not doing yourself a favor worrying about it, which I'll get to later. But right there, it's you can see where already you're predisposed, and that predisposition towards, I don't want to say a negative mentality, let's just call it a negative mentality, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will manifest itself in reality, and because you're without the confidence, your worst fears are going to come true. So you're unnecessarily making them true. Truthfully, I would consider myself a lot less desirable than a beta male, and although I despise MGTOW and such lifestyles, I'm seriously considering quitting and setting up a monthly budget aside for hookers. Not a bad idea. I'm not. Because here's the thing, hookers are already economically, they make a lot of sense for, quote, normal people. Because you don't have to dick around going to the... So already there's a valid argument for going with hookers. And in Canada, it's legal. So I'm not against that, frankly, in your particular situation. Not only because you get laid, but I think if you ended up getting laid and blah, 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 it would kind of break whatever social, psychological barriers you have. Not with women, even though particularly in your case you're arguing general social or general social interaction. So it's not just the women you're concerned about. In other words, there's no major concern you have with women here. It's just in general going out and being social. So, but yeah, I would definitely endorse that. Yeah, go get some horse. Just wrap it up. You don't want to catch no fucking disease. I got rejected from a McDonald's job 4 times after my interview. I fear this rejection may slip into my professional career, and I am now doubting. You got to learn the difference between now and no. You're spelling, because you're an immigrant. It's N-O-W is now, K-N-O-W is no. I am now doubting the worth of even pursuing one, knowing I'll never live up to its full worth and should go about a minimalist lifestyle. The reason I come to you for this advice is that I know that you wouldn't say some bullshit like put yourself out there and people will like you for who you are and would realize the true depth of this problem and how to fix it. Hopefully. Thank you. And he agrees to the conditions. Alright. Anyway, here's the deal. I did a little bit of research because I'm very skeptical and you being an immigrant can understand this, of Americans, but also Canadians, Westerners in general, being spoiled brat fucking pussies and cunts, saying, "Oh, I got ADHD, I got the Asperger's, I got this, I got that. Give me fucking government money, and everybody lower the standard for me." So I looked into stuttering, and it is a mental condition, a physical thing in your brain. Not life-threatening, obviously, but it's not this bullshit thing where it's made up and you got. Now, this then boils down to two things. You can either cure it or you can't. And we already discussed in a separate email about curing. You have talked to therapists. I looked into it. There's a piece of me that says, okay, there's treatment, obviously, and you could talk to a therapist, but there's a piece of me that really believes in the human endeavor where you use your frontal lobes to override that shit. Which is kind of like saying override a stroke. I understand it may not be physically possible, but it's worth a shot. Now, you say you could get your stuttering down by about 80%, so it only occurs in 20% of situations. So there are therapists, there are neurological scientists, there are studies, way more than me, that have said, okay, we can whittle it down to a 20% rate. It's not going to cost you anything. Basically, my point is, it's not going to cost you anything to, force yourself not to stutter, which is force yourself not to have that cigarette, force yourself not to drink, force yourself not to have sex. The frontal cortex, because I've done this in my own life, like a lot of things, I'm not going to be depressed, I'm not going to be down, I'm not going to let this get me, I'm going to keep on pushing. And so I think if you try it, see if you can just if you start stuttering, immediately shut down and stop. Of course, it may cause for some odd pauses in conversation, but it gives you a little bit of hope, is what I'm saying, is at least give this a shot because it's in your control. And if you can do that and it's in your control, well, fucking awesome, man. You can fucking end it. The other thing is, okay, you can either cure it or you can't. And if you can't, then here's the thing, you have to own up to it. Now, let me do something that I always do on my videos, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. I do this. I've done that since I was 3. I had this massive allergic reaction. My dad made me go underneath a bed and clean shit without a fucking broom and I had to go to the hospital. Ever since, I've had this slight thing I got to do. And I had it since I was 3. I didn't even notice it. But other people do. They say, "Why do you clear your throat? Why do you do that? Why do you like that?" I've had this smoker's cough even though I don't smoke. And it's just something that's been with me. And I was born, I wasn't born that way, but whatever it is, this permanent ailment, slight as it may be, it's with me now. I've had to deal with it. And the reason I've had to deal with it is because I've had no choice. The only other option is to kill yourself. I'm too fucking pretty and awesome to do that. And it's kind of the same thing with you. You've done everything you can. Let's say you've done everything you can. Ideally, you would like to stop the stuttering. You'd like to cure it. But you may have to come to the realization you can't stop it. You can't cure it. And now you get to live with that. That is here are your cards. Life dealt you these cards, and you got a really fucking sucky card. And guess what? Too fucking bad. That's it. You got this shitty-ass card. It's kind of a lot of people, I want to help out the black community. You have a fair amount of black readers. The obsession with race that the black community has is very interesting and curious to me, because it's well, you didn't fucking control that. You were born black. Well, yeah, that sucks. Okay, and all the oppression and the discrimination and whatever other handicaps that come with it, it doesn't change the fact you can't go and be white. I'm a short guy. Another perfect example. Give me another perfect example. In addition to, I'm a short guy. Short guys don't do too well with the ladies. Tough fucking shit. I can't make myself taller. I really can't. Unless I'm like Prince, I put on platform shoes. These are the cards you've been dealt with. And I think a lot of angst and psychological anguish and problems will go away when you just say, okay, I'm a stutterer. And instead of trying to solve it if it's not solvable, which will drive you insane, trying to solve a problem that is not solvable will drive you insane. Own it, admit to it. I'm a short, skinny Irish fuck that has a kind of thing that I gotta do. You're a Muslim dude, or not, maybe you're not Muslim, I don't know. You're an Arabic, you're Middle Eastern ethnicity, living in Canada, and you have a stuttering problem. but at least you're tall and good looking. And that's the car. This is what you got to operate with. Here are your tools. That's all the tools you're going to get. And so you got to work with that. And so then you own it. You accept the fact you're a stutterer. All right, now how do I take my life with this handicap and make the best of it that I can? Now, how you do that, I think the biggest hurdle is once you accept that. That's the biggest hurdle. And then things will become more obvious to you as to how do you live your life and make the most of it, even though you have the stuttering that cannot be cured. You know, minimalize it to whatever you can. We talked about that in the first round. But how do you live with it? And you're going to come up with better ideas because you've lived that life your entire life and I haven't. But one of the things, you know, what I'm thinking is you don't want to like totally have it own you, but you do have to make some adjustments in your life to account for it. So, for example, you're majoring in chemical engineering. That's great. People are going to pay you to be an engineer. Engineers don't have to be social. You're not the sales guy. You know, like, obviously, don't go into sales. Me, I'm not going to become a Chippendale. All right, so we got the idea. But you like chemical engineering, so you're in the right. You're right. You're going to make damn good money, so that's one thing that's taken care of. But that addresses your career options. So it's kind of taken care of in that you're fortunate that you like something that doesn't require a lot of social interaction and is in high demand, and you do that. With the McDonald's thing, don't worry about that. You got bigger plans. Obviously, your brain is a little bit more than average if you're going into chemical engineering. I would not worry about the fucking McDonald's thing. Maybe find something computer programmer like fucking something where you could do IT work on the internet where you obviously don't need to like speak or interact with people. And yeah, it kind of sucks. And you know, here's the thing. You know, it was a disadvantage. You have a hurdle. They shot you down probably because you stuttered. And that just sucks. A lot of girls shot me down because I'm short, and that sucks. Again, that's what we get to deal with. But don't fester over it. Don't get angry over it. But getting back to the social aspect, so your career is kind of taken care of because you're going to be in demand and all that. But then the other thing is, just tell people. I don't think, and here's the thing, you're obviously going to be higher IQ, and thank God for that, because higher IQ people aren't, like, let's say you and I met. We would probably hang out pretty well, even if you did stutter. Would I find it annoying? Yeah, but I ain't going to be like, well, fuck, I ain't going to hang out with this guy no more. And real cool people, real high IQ people aren't going to fault you for stuttering. They aren't. Who's going to be a fucking dick like that? And here is where you have to adjust your social strategy a little bit to the fact you stutter. Silence is golden. You don't have to, like, usually me, and for reasons we don't have to delve into, I'm usually the nucleus or the center of the party. I can keep things going. I make a great host. You ever come to fucking Minneapolis, don't worry, you're not going to be unentertained. You don't have to be that. Sometimes it's just great to sit down and be quiet. And then you say really strategic, look at the video, How to Be an Interesting Man. You listen more than you talk. And that's brilliant. You say only key things at key points in time. And what it does is it makes you seem more intelligent and more interesting than you really are, where you wait for opportune moments to just say very clever and witty things, when in reality you could be a complete social recluse, or you're shy. But you, in a very weird sense, waiting only for very opportune moments to say short but very clever and observant things, funny, not insulting, but funny, even complimentary, makes you seem way more intelligent and interesting than you are. Because everybody fucking yaps their goddamn mouth. So use this as a strength. Use your silence as a strength. Just say, and then people say, well, you're kind of quiet. You say, it's because I stutter. And they'll be like, what? Like, yeah, that's why I don't talk a lot. It's because I stutter. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, that's why you're so quiet? Like, yeah. And then they're going to be curious. And they're immediately going to forgive you, assuming, again, you're hanging out with high IQ, honest people. They're immediately going to forgive you, like, holy shit. We didn't, well, that's why I don't talk too much. And then, all of a sudden, it's explained. But you've already gone up in their estimation because you're waiting for those opportune, genuine moments. I mean, seriously, it's like a fastball right across the plate. Just fucking hit that out of the park. It happens. And then, not only will they say, oh gosh, well, we didn't know. They might even feel guilt, even though you've never accused them of anything. But that then allows you to kind of be yourself in those particular situations. Now, is it a pain in the ass sitting there shutting up and being quiet when you'd like to say a lot of things and express your feelings? Yes, but unfortunately, you and I and everybody else has their disadvantages that we have to operate by. Your handicap happens to be a lot more significant. But again, that's not going to change. But if you take that strategy of silence is golden, even though you may want to say a lot of things, it will play to your advantage to make you a more interesting person in social situations. The other thing that I thought of is you don't stutter on the internet. And thankfully, goddamn well near 95% of interaction now is digitally. Texting, Facebook, the Twitter, and all that other stuff. So online dating, not to say, again, this is just for females, like I mean, you're talking guys and all that. Like when you're in meet space, you know, you would obviously have to talk. But digitally, holy shit, you're fucking golden. And just, I'm not saying like brag about it, not that you would brag or like shove it in people's faces, but like, let's say you're online, you meet a gal through whatever the online dating, Match.com. You're very charming in way you craft your texts, you craft your emails beautifully and wonderfully, and you just tickle her vag, and she's just like, you know, wants to go hang out with you and fuck you the first time. They say, look, I'm terribly sorry, but whereas online I may come off polished and refined, I stutter, and it's just a thing, and blah blah blah. And like I said, I think most people in today's especially politically correct society are going to accept that. So I would play to the internet, I would play to silence is golden, and I think that's not only the best you can do, but it may actually I mean, God almighty, a lot of people should just shut the fuck up. Imagine if people just shut up and listened every once in a while, how much more they go up in other people's estimation. It is truly silence is golden. So if you could play to that strategy, that strength, and then also just be upfront and say, look, I'm sorry, you know, on the internet, I stutter, and I apologize. I think people are going to be accepting of that, and then them accepting it, I hope to God it would trigger some mental thing or something in your brain where like, oh, I'm relaxed, and you actually stutter less. So, I wish I had a solution for your stuttering. I don't. It seems like it's an actual, you know, not mental. It's not mental. It's a physical thing. Wear it down as much as you can. Grind it down. Try that mental frontal lobes. Like, I am just not going to stutter. And if I start stuttering, I'm going to shut up. Immediately shutting it down. But also admit the fact that it is very statistically likely is a permanent condition you may never get rid of, like my shortness, like my ugliness, and like my fucking goddamn hair. I can actually see myself. It's like, oh, fucking 80s bangy. I gotta get it cut. I gotta get a new fucking moose. Whatever. These are things we just have to accept and live with because that's the way we were born. It's the way we were fucking born. It doesn't make us inferior people. Doesn't make us worse people. It just makes us short, ugly Irish guys. But anyway, no. Those are the cards you dealt with. And don't fucking waste your life being miserable about it anymore. It's just how it is, man. That's how it fucking is. That's the way the fucking ball bounced. And I think if you just be quiet and you play it right, you're going to have a great social life. Because seriously, there's nothing better than being that quiet fucking sage, brilliant guy. And it's really kind of cool. You just sit and be quiet. And that's how it is. That's how it is. So forgive yourself. Let go of it. The solution is to maybe admit there is no solution and then to adjust your life around it and optimize and maximize your life that way. So I hope this helped. And then if any of you guys who are readers, subscribers, viewers, know anything about stuttering or know this, you know, have been in this capacity, please help this guy out. Best of luck to all of you. Toodles.